Welcome one and welcome all to another Flash Friday Suck Our Balls.
TJ once again has failed to his job.
What? What is
Give us a screen so we can see you stupid fucking pea-brained TJ, you fucking asshole, fucking slob.
There, take your fucking
Fuck
screen.
yourself, TJ. Right in
You know
your
what?
stupid ass. Fuck yourself, TJ. You got no fucking class. You can suck a million dicks in hell and go out with the trash. You're a piece of shit, TJ. You can suck my ass. I'm feeling a country mood lately. You know what I mean?
Paul's like an
I just
outlaw
wrote a country
artist.
song out of my soul.
Out of your soul.
That's a beautiful
It was
fucking...
a powerful song, too.
That's a beautiful outlaw country song, too. It'd be right
Well, you
at
are
home with the
wearing
greats.
a wooden spoon shirt.
Yeah. Wooden Spoon Survivor.
Oh,
star.
Survivor.
Survivor.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't see that part, man.
I survived.
Were you paddled?
Yeah, well, only a couple of times. See, the thing with the wooden spoon is you get it a couple of times, and then all Mom has to do is, like, wave it at you.
Yeah, like, looky here.
So, yeah.
Peaches, look right here.
Look what I got.
Nope, I'm good.
Nope.
Hey, TJ, I've actually been working on teaching your dog a trick.
What trick is that?
The shit the bed trick.
The shit the bed trick, huh?
I'm going to teach him to jump on your bed and relieve himself.
Well, that'll make it easy to clean up. You know, you won't have to pick it up out of the yard. You can just pull your blankets off the bed and
it's
wash
simple,
them.
dude. It's more efficient. Think about that. Your yard
Well-
will not smell like shit anymore. You just will smell like shit.
I'm not too worried about you being able to train a dog to do anything based on the behavior of the dog at your house, Scotty.
Look at you, Juro.
So,
Damn.
Look, I'm going to throw Taylor under the bus here because Taylor, that's her dog.
that's
My
her dog, oh, yeah?
Well, I mean, like, look, we jointly own the dog.
Scotty's got a fucking
say.
dog over there that is just insane. Scotty's
It's
dog
not my
is
fucking fault.
just a lunatic.
It is a
And it
lunatic.
was because I can kind of understand him throwing Taylor under the bus because my understanding was beforehand she's like, I am an expert dog trainer. And then
She sold herself as a dog trainer.
yep, and then
Rut-row.
it turned out to maybe not quite be true.
Well, dude, I'll tell you this. Jean-Luc has mellowed.
He has mellowed, I'll tell you that.
With age, and I think having
But-
a big yard to run in has
I
helped
mean,
a little, but
he's
he's
helpful.
still a night. He's still a
crazy.
fucking crazy
Yeah,
person.
he's mellowed from like absolute nightmare to just psychotic lunatic. That's
Which is actually good progress.
Yeah, I
that's
mean-
definitely the direction we want him to go.
yeah. I would say in 3 or 4 years you got yourself a dog right there. So,
It's about what it took for me to get a dog out of Dinor.
I know, right?
So, you know,
Isn't it
I
crazy?
can't hate.
It is nuts. And I can't speak too much because Salvador, even though I don't think he was ever quite as crazy as Jean-Luc,
More destructive, though.
he was more destructive.
I mean, he
Salvador,
would chew up your shoes.
he had
he'd
emotional
chew up-
issues. I don't know what to say.
Salvador still has emotional issues, dude.
He had a lot of angst.
Yeah.
You can't walk Salvador. It's impossible.
If you tell Salvador he's going for a walk, he'll run and hide.
Well, I remember when I came to visit you in Ohio, one of Salvador's favorite things to do was to listen to metal in the basement.
Yeah.
So you like that? That's where the angst came from, man. He
think?
sat down there and he listened to metal.
He's all like,
you guys,
This world, destroy, destroy.
have you guys ever heard Mongolian metal?
I have the.
Dude, it's fucking some weird fucking shit. It's pretty awesome, though.
I've never heard of this.
Oh, dude, it's crazy.
Look them up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like it's crazy, dude. You got to check it out. Mongol metal.
Okay. All right. I'm already a fan.
That's what I'm telling you, dude. It's pretty awesome, dude.
It's
I'm
hardcore.
Down. I'm
It's
down
hardcore.
with the Who.
I actually
Wolf
didn't.
Totem, dude.
I didn't think it was fucking hardcore, but somebody showed it to me like a few months ago, and I was like, you know what?
That's hardcore.
I probably won't ever listen to this again, but that's hardcore.
I'm gonna listen
is,
to it
dude.
again. I'm gonna fucking become the biggest fan of
Put
this
up on the
shit.
screen for a second, at least. Let
I
people see
mean,
it.
I don't want to get copyright.
Well, just show them what these guys
Bullshit.
look like. You don't got to play anything.
yeah. All right.
Just play it for like 2 seconds. or
All right.
something.
I'm gonna play it for 2 seconds.
Look at these fucking dudes, man.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm down with it. I'm down with it.
Pretty fucking hardcore.
It definitely is.
I could rock to that,
Yeah. I mean, like, I could see killing some people to that.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying, dude.
or myself. you
Yeah.
know?
No, that's not kill yourself music. He just
Maybe
talked
not in
about,
your world.
He just talked about fighting off the hordes.
See,
You're
you've
gonna kill
got
yourself
you've
to that
got like
shit?
All around me are familiar places.
mean,
Those
not
are your
necessarily.
suicide fantasies.
No.
Mine
Very
involve
fair.
jizzing into a volcano that's erupting. That's the type of music you want playing when that
Oh,
happens.
we've upped the ante though, Paul.
Dude, that you're
Black
just
hole, remember?
Oh, yeah, I gotta fuck the black
You gotta
hole.
fuck the black hole out of the system.
Spaghettification has started on my cock.
You know what,
Dude,
Paul?
I don't know. I feel like we're losing something by switching it to black hole. Like, what about all the? I mean, like the lava was kind of like a thing, you know? Can we make a black hole out of lava? Is that a thing? Can we do that?
How do you know there's not lava in a black hole?
I mean, there probably is some.
how do you know there's not? You know, we don't know what the fuck is in there.
Yeah.
So I might splash down into
Paul
some fucking plasma or
He's gonna
some
fucking,
shit.
Well, you know, the idea, TJ, is Paul's going to fill the black hole, dude. He's going
Right.
to finally be the thing that stops the black hole
Yeah.
from consuming the universe.
Yep. I'm gonna
Dude,
choke,
what if,
choke the hole.
I mean, it has to be the black hole at the center of the Milky Way galaxy, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Like,
Sirius
obviously
A.
It has to be that one.
Or Sirius. I think it's Sirius A. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely has to be the one Paul is thrown into.
But you know what? Paul might not fucking pull in a fucking interstellar, dude. He might figure out a lot of shit
Anyway.
about the
Yeah.
universe.
My cock might.
True.
Yeah?
Maybe
My
Paul's
dick might
co-
like solve
Maybe
a
Paul's
puzzle in
cock
there.
will like come back, you know, as like a giant space cock, and it'll be like, you know, the one called Paul is dead, but
Dude.
I live on with
maybe-
the wisdom of the cosmos.
Dude, maybe Paul's cock is the black monolith from fucking 2001: A Space
Yeah.
Odyssey, dude.
Yeah, maybe.
Could be.
You never
Never
know.
fucking
You
know,
never
dude.
know.
It goes back and fucking creates the evolution of man. So that
We don't know what
you know,
that going through that black hole could do, man.
What do you need to plug up a catastrophic black hole? A giant
dick.
cock.
Giant dick.
There it is.
It's just the pussy wanted to be
I
fucked,
saved
dude.
the fucking universe
Yep.
from the laws of entropy.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul.
No problem.
You know, you'll never see Lara Croft get her period, but here's why you should.
You're gonna really have to convince me on this one because it's been a couple of years since I played a Lara Croft game, but I'm pretty sure she just like does ninja shit, right?
Yeah.
She shoots bows and arrows. She sneaks around. She cuts people's
climbs
throats.
up
fights
mountains.
cultists
She
or
climbs
whatever,
things.
yeah.
She's a badass.
Yeah.
And what's badass about period cramps and shit? It's like saying like Superman probably has jock itch, but you never see it in the comics. Here's why you should, you know?
You'll never see Lara Croft get her period. Sure, bodily fluids are considered gross and disgusting, but there's more to it than that. There are plenty of games featuring toilet-related activities like There's Poop in My Soup.
Which no
Oh
one
yeah,
cares-
the classic.
Yeah, the classic
Which
game that everyone knows.
no one cares about.
That's on the same level as Tomb Raider, by the way.
Right, yeah.
But there was almost no games about periods. What gives? It seems there's still a lingering taboo.
The taboo is that video games are meant to be fantasy expressions of reality. And there's not a whole lot that's fun about running to the store at 2 a.m. to get fucking tampons because you got your period.
well, also,
Unless it's a narrative device, you know, that leads to something else. Along that trip, aliens come and get you or whatever. And it's like the quest to get a tampon.
So here is apparently this is a new tampon game that this
Oh, my
article is an
God.
ad for.
And I
so-
bet it's
that's so
amazing,
lame.
too.
Australian indie game developer Jess Gates made Bound by Blood to explore what it's like to manage your period
yeah,
when you're
no,
homeless.
I'm sorry, no one wants to play this game.
It only takes 10 to 15 minutes to play through, and you can play it for
Well,
free here.
that's also a boring game. 10 or 15 minutes, and then I'm done with the game.
But you get to know what the fucking period plight
Well, also,
of the homeless
with
woman
Lara
is, Scotty.
Croft, does she have a severe period? So is she going to be fucking cramping? Is she going to be on fucking shitting in the fucking caves?
Dude,
and
I
dungeons?
say go ahead and make it an attack.
Yeah,
You
like
know, like have her shoot that shit out of her pussy at high velocity
That
into like the
doesn't-
enemy's face or something. Like, you know, one of those Jurassic Park spitting fucking
what if
things.
she could use it? You know, like those little things you can collect in some video games that you can throw to like get people's attention.
Yeah,
Like, what if she could like pull out her tampon and throw it to get like to distract the guards? Or
that's
whatever.
true. I was thinking go more extreme. Like, how
Well,
about
she didn't plan to
How
bring
about
the
if she
tampon.
can fly with it? Like, how about she shoots out such a high pressure stream that it lifts her off the ground?
Oh, it's like a double jump.
yeah. You know,
She can get like a pussy squirt.
yeah, get like a nice big hydraulic
Yeah.
blood squirt out of her pussy to lift her up to the higher platform than she could normally reach.
Yeah.
You know,
Or they could just keep making her an action badass so the game is fun to play. Whatever
you
they
play-
want
I
to
think
do.
that'd be fun.
TJ, can you play Bound by Blood? Is there any way that we can?
Yeah, we can play it right here,
Is it a
right
browser
now.
game?
Yeah, is it a? Can we
I
do
think
that?
so.
if
It
it's
says
not
you
a-
can play it for free here.
Bound.
All right,
Oh,
cool.
start game. Okay.
All right. Welcome to Bound by Blood, a short interactive narrative about. It's an interactive narrative
What? No, play through.
It's not a game.
It's basically an interact. Yep, here you go.
All
It
right.
is 7:09 a.m. on Friday, the 25th of May.
Beth is
waking up in her car.
Okay.
Yeah,
Ryan
she's
is
got
with
$5.
Beth. Beth has $5.90 in her purse. Her next payment is 4 days away at 1:30 p.m.
This game already sucks.
Yeah, this game is already lame.
Looks like it's like a second grader's project or something. Them calling this a game is fucking hilarious.
How's this a game?
This is bullshit.
What? Where's the game?
I'm not going through all this fucking
Yeah,
nonsense.
fuck this, dude. You're not like I thought it was gonna be like Beth running to the store.
Oh,
trying
TJ just wants to see the end.
I want to see the part where the period happens.
You're not gonna see anything. Look. It's
Oh,
all
finally,
tight.
I actually have a choice. I can ask if the clinic has any pads or spare herself the embarrassment and ask for the toilet
Well, she got a
key.
period. I mean, ask the fucking clinic if they got any pads.
Give me them pads.
Ask if they have some more.
Thank Irene. Yeah, give me more. Put fresh pad on.
There you
Exit
go.
toilet.
You got one fresh pad.
Keep
Oh,
walking.
toilet sound effect.
Enter. Wait. 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 Wow, so powerful.
Oh my god, dude, this sucks.
This is a great game.
This game, why isn't Tomb Raider more like this, god damn it?
Oh my god, dude, fucking horrible.
Okay, so officially,
Literally looks like it was made in 10 minutes.
what
It
is
fucking
that?
sucks.
Not really a game.
Oh, here's another game that I guess mentions periods somewhere. It's an Indian game.
Honestly, who fucking cares? Look at it.
Yeah.
You know,
sucks.
you know why you're not seeing a lot
Oh,
of this?
tampon run looks like it might be fun.
You're not-
Oh, hey, look, it's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
You get to run around
They
and throw
stole
your
your
tampon.
idea, Paul. You should sue.
I am gonna sue. Retroactively stole my idea somehow.
Yeah, tampon
Cool,
run.
press shift.
Press
Press shift.
shift. I got this.
Sick.
All right.
Most women menstruate, yet most people.
Yeah.
All right, whatever.
Blah, blah, blah. Do I actually get to do a tap?
So you got- You're going on a tampon run, TJ. Yeah, kill him. Get him.
Look, it's the patriarchy.
Fucking patriarchy.
You only got 4 tampons left though, so you better be careful.
Oh, shit. I didn't know. I didn't know I was limited.
Yeah. Oh, there's a box.
Damn.
Oh, you got fucked. You suck at tampon run, TJ.
Well, I didn't know I was limited
Yeah, you
on my
wasted.
tampons,
You
dude.
wasted a lot of tampons early.
TJ,
Whoa.
power up your tampon
Wow.
power.
Are there any enemies in this stretch?
Damn, you're like hoarding tampons on this run. I see what it's like. Saving up them pawns. Damn, TJ's like a fucking world-class tampon run player.
Damn,
I didn't
TJ.
know.
The world's first tampon
Yeah,
run.
tampon
speed
run.
Get it, TJ, get the extra tampon. Fire your tampons. Fire!
All right, this game sucks pretty bad.
Oh my god, you're
They just-
invincible.
Wait, they just run through you?
Oh, they're stealing tampons.
Oh, shit.
dude.
They're stealing your tampons.
Fucking tampon thief.
Dude, what are these Yang Gang guys doing stealing your
No,
tampons?
only one left.
No!
No,
Ah, no!
Tampon run.
Wow, what a
Period
shit game.
game. Okay. Anyway, yeah, that sucked. They all suck. So to answer your question as to, well, I guess it wasn't a question. But yeah, Lara Croft does not need any.
Well, here's the thing about
Hey,
getting your period.
this was written by Megan Pusey.
Wow. Here's the thing about getting your period. It's just boring. It's not fun. It's not interesting. There's no reason to play a game about
I mean,
it.
if you can weave it into the narrative or something, I don't mind it. But the idea that a
Should be the
female
focus of the game.
action star has to menstruate at some point during the game to be a real female action star is just retarded.
What about the older women in the games, Paul, that are going through menopause? Oh, what game has really dealt with menopause?
I was like, we were talking about
Like
this
most
earlier.
games, like there's plenty of games where you're a dude and like you never need to take a shit. You know, like your character
that's the
doesn't need to go to the bathroom to take a fucking shit or a piss usually. I mean, maybe some games have that in. I'm sure they
It's
do.
like 99% of the women that you interact with might be menstruating and you don't know it. That's like kind of the whole point. Women don't want people to be like hovering around them knowing that there's blood gushing out of their vagina. So they take steps.
Do I smell pussy juice in the air?
You know
You
what I mean?
bleeding out your pussy, girl?
So it's just like, it doesn't make any sense.
It's a vagina, TJ. A vagina.
Virginer.
A vagina.
Let's see that virginer.
How do they know that fucking Lara Croft didn't have her uterus removed in a catastrophic surgery and doesn't like
Maybe
talking
she
about
No
it?
one does. No
How
one does.
insensitive of them to assume her ability to menstruate.
I know.
How do they know that
It's
Lara
kinda
Croft
fucked.
wasn't Larry Croft?
Yeah, how do you know she Yeah.
Ah.
You see what I
A
mean?
lot of offensive assumptions going on here.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, junkie is a good name for this site because it's
Yeah.
a junk article.
Junk.
Junk.
Offensive junk.
Biden expands lead over rivals for 2020 U.S. presidential nomination despite lack of support from millennials. Reuters Ipsos poll.
Ruh-roh.
Before we get into this, TJ, I think
Yes,
there's
go
something
ahead.
really fucking funny. Can you go to Google for a second?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I want you to search for Joe Biden.
Google.com. Okay. Joe Biden.
And if you go to one of the first sites that pops up, it's actually not his campaign website. It's actually a parody website that is, as the last time I looked, outranks his website.
It looks like most of the. I don't even see. Okay, yeah. So it's Joe. This JoeBiden.info
Yes.
is the fake site,
This
right?
is the fake site.
And it does outrank his own site.
Yeah, so on SEO,
on,
this-
Google.
on Google.
Uncle Joe is back and ready to take a hands-on approach to America's problems. Joe Biden has a good feel for the American people and knows exactly what they really want deep down. He's happy to open up and reveal himself to voters and will give a pounding to anybody
Yeah,
who gets in his
if
way.
you scroll, this site's fucking beautiful, dude. It's a bunch of
No, it's just him, like,
lots of gifs of Uncle Joe.
being creepy.
Give me a kiss.
I promise you, the president has a big stick.
Referring to Obama.
Oh, and then his legislative accomplishments against gay marriage, for mass incarceration, against abortion rights, for Iraq war, against
Now I
school
see why
busing.
he's winning.
Yeah, dude, he's got all the popular stances.
Yeah. He's a true populist. Yeah. I mean, a lot of this, when I read about this a little bit, and I think a lot of this is just like what they call a bounce from his announcement after months and months of putting it off. And that they expect his numbers to come, down.
All
but
right, well,
they still, like, from what I could read, estimate that he's going to maintain like a low double-digit or high single-digit lead over everybody else.
It's crazy because last time he ran, I mean, he didn't do shit.
No.
He was like
all
1%.
right, well, let's. Yeah, I mean, well, if you'll remember, he entered that race pretty strong at that point. Not as strong as he has this time because he didn't have the whole vice presidency thing.
Well,
but-
there's gonna be a lot of primaries and a lot of shit though that he's gonna have to go through and still
right,
come on
and I
top.
mean, like, just to put it into kind of somewhat of a perspective, at this point in 2015, Jeb Bush was the front runner.
true.
So I mean, like, let's.
His
Right.
famous slogan was "Jeb!"
Yeah.
Exclamation
A
point.
lot of people have accused these polls of oversampling from older people, but then again, older people do tend to vote more, so you never know.
Right.
and they love Uncle Joe.
I don't know. I don't think Joe's support is going to stay as high as it is. He might be competitive in this race. I kind of still, despite the pretty impressive poll numbers at this point, and maybe it's just my delusional mindset, but I kind of just think that there is a lot of nostalgia for the Obama administration.
There
and that
definitely
once
is.
this guy trots out there and starts doing his Joe Biden thing, people are going to fucking
Well, this is a single poll.
flee in droves.
Can you look up a aggregate of these polls? I mean, I'm sure he's probably still ahead, but this is a single poll.
No,
correct?
he's been ahead in a few polls at this point.
Yeah.
He's been. I mean,
I've
it's
seen 2 or 3. where
There's
he leads
there's
by
been at
double
least
digit.
4 where he's in it has a double digit lead.
Yeah.
So
Some of them have like 18%. Some of them have 26. I mean,
Really, he's 26%.
this one here says he's at 26% of Democratic voters say that they would
Wow.
vote for him.
right. So he's doing very well in the polls at this point, but I don't know. We haven't had a debate yet. We haven't really started to get into the full swing of the primary season.
This also
I've got a feeling that this is not going to last for Joe, but maybe it will.
This also might be a reflection of pragmatism in voters. He is the most well-known politician on
he
the
definitely
list.
has the best name recognition,
Right,
being
and
VP and stuff.
in terms of his policy, I think people are probably more familiar with his than some of the other names on the list. So that this might just be a reflection of that as well.
Yeah, I don't know that this
At this
is gonna
early
hold, but-
stage in the fucking primaries is what I'm saying. There's not a lot out there about these candidates.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people still people like you and I. Well, the three of us.
What do you
have-
think people view this as like? If he wins, this is gonna be kind of like the Obama years coming back, like the continuation.
That's
of the
exactly what I think,
I think
he's
that's probably
trying
what
to
people
sell
are-
to people.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I wasn't really too keen on the whole Obama years thing, so I'm just
No, it
kind of like
sucked.
whatever. But
The Obama years sucked.
a lot of people are suffering
Disappointment.
from Trump derangement syndrome at this point, which rightfully so because he's awful.
Trump bad,
but-
Trump bad.
I do think that Joe might be the most qualified to go toe-to-toe with Trump in a debate setting.
Well, you know,
and play his own game.
He has done pretty well in debates in the past, so
He's willing to go
might be
low.
the guy to
You
do
know what
that.
I mean? He's willing to be the guy that
he's
talks
definitely
about
willing to go low.
punching him in the mouth or taking him out behind the woodshed and giving him what for. You know what I mean?
Joe's Joe has always been a gaff machine.
Yeah.
So
So is Trump.
Well,
that's
that's
true,
what I
but-
mean.
But Joe,
Is this like
Joe,
the mirror?
Joe hasn't really shown the ability to slither his way out of the gaffes quite as adeptly as
I don't
Trump
know.
seems to.
I mean, you don't think he's slithered his way out of the gaffes? He's topping the polls
but
of
going
fucking
in-
Democratic
yeah.
field.
But going against Trump,
I think
though,
he's fucking really adept at slithering his
But
way
think
out
about
of
this
gaffes.
too, TJ. If it comes down to fucking Biden or Trump, I mean, people are gonna be way more forgiving suddenly of Biden's gaffes than they are of Trump's.
I mean, all of a sudden, all of the they've already basically forgiven him for fucking molesting every woman he fucking
Clearly.
every woman and girl and elderly lady
And he took
that
a fuck-
enters his field of
He
vision.
took a fucking page out of the Trump book too. He never apologized. Said like, "Well, I mean, I'm working on it."
Yeah, I'm working on it, guys.
Look,
Look,
I do it maybe, but
it was locker room molestation.
yeah. There you go.
You know.
Photos.
Anyway, I don't like him, but
Who does?
I mean, honestly,
I want to meet these people that
Dude,
really
I
are
saw a
fired
fucking
up
video
for
on
Biden.
Twitter, dude. There's a fucking huge line of people that love him.
They're
Oh, yeah.
fired up for
lot
Biden,
of older
huh?
people. Yeah, dude, it was. It does skew older though. I will
From
say
an
that.
entertainment standpoint, which is really the way that a very Carlin way of looking at this process now. I'm glad he's there.
No,
it's gonna be fun to watch.
I
him.
think he could be interesting from an entertainment.
Yeah, I want to see
standpoint.
Uncle Joe and Trump threaten to beat each other up, dude.
I want to see Bernie and Uncle Joe getting a heated fucking back and forth.
You probably will.
yeah,
You probably will.
I want to see it.
In my view, Uncle Joe inappropriately touched many women.
The media's already attacked Bernie for going after Joe's record on a few things, and like, man, Bernie once again trying to divide up the party. It's like all he did was point out that Joe voted for Iraq and all this other shit,
Which
that
is all true.
Dude, the
turned
bat-
out to be
by the way.
fucking failure. So
Dude, we're fucking about to have.
it's like we got to the point where you're not even allowed to talk policy substance about
an-
your
yeah.
opponent.
Dude, fuck this, dude. I want geriatric Thunderdome to happen, dude. I'm just wanting it. Everyone that's under 70 is out right now. Just
I want to see
eliminate 'em.
Joe Biden and fucking Bernie Sanders
And
on
Trump.
top of Hell in a Cell.
With Mike Gravel jumping in with the elbow drop at some point in the match.
Oh, then he pulls out his cane halfway through the fucking. Oh, he can be the special referee
Dude,
and he can hit him.
Gravel should open up his cane and pull out some kind of weird powder and like throw it in Joe Biden's face and shit.
I want to see him drop from the top of the cell, dude.
Yeah.
Like at a key moment in the match when, Bernie's about to beat Joe, fucking just elbow drop from Gravel from the fucking top of the cell, dude. Oh, man.
Dear God, he killed him!
Please make this.
Gravel killed Bernie! Bernie's not moving, oh dear God! Drag him back into the ring! Drag him back!
Can we have Scotty announce it,
Yes.
please?
Yes, we can.
Dude, if we can make this happen, I'll vote again. Dude, I'll vote for the winner.
Dude, fuck
of
that,
Hell
dude.
in a Cell.
I'll do it on condition that Trump is the fucking referee, dude.
Oh, my God.
So like, it looks like Biden's gonna win. Trump can get to the 2 count. Just go no, and they can fucking take out a metal, fucking to the steel chair. A steel chair to his face! Dear God, he's killed him! He ripped his head off! Trump can drag Bernie's body. 1, 2, 3, oh, it's Bernie!
Oh, God, dude. I want this so bad. Wrestling would be so good if they would just do shit like this. Just get a bunch of old codgers that kind of look like political
I'm
figures.
saying do away with
Have
the
them
primary
figure it
system,
out.
dude. Make it fucking like
I'm
sports
for that, too.
entertainment. You know what?
I'm for that.
It's already rigged anyway, so let's have some excitement with our rigging. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So Alabama just passed a near total abortion ban with no exceptions for rape and incest. And as I pointed out on my Twitter, if you make exceptions for rape and incest, that's like 90% of the pregnancies in Alabama. So, what's that, Scotty?
I know the reason why.
Why?
Isn't it obvious? Well, what do you think the reason why this happened?
What do you mean the reason why it happened?
The reason why that this horrible law was passed, TJ.
Because Republicans are twats.
No, sorry.
No?
No.
That's not why? Okay.
Paul, do you have any idea?
No, I have no clue.
White males.
Oh, okay.
Right. White
Got it.
males.
It's white males.
Yeah.
This is white.
Look who voted for it, TJ.
White males.
White males.
White males.
That's what I'm. Okay, I mean, I guess that's not a problem. That's fine.
The Alabama State Senate, mostly white males, by the way,
Yes, white males.
passed a near total abortion ban.
What's this near total shit? If rape and incest has no exception, what are the?
Yeah,
I guess the
well-
life of the mother.
No, because it's abortion after 6 weeks. So you can still get an abortion if you can catch the pregnancy in those first 6 weeks when it's the size of a fucking jelly bean.
Right.
In a 25-6 vote on Tuesday night, the legislation provides no exceptions for rape or incest. The bill is the most restrictive anti-abortion measure passed since Roe v. Wade was decided in 1973. The bill now heads to Governor Kay Ivey, a Republican. If she signs it, the bill would become law.
She would also become one of the most hated women in America overnight.
Up until Tuesday, she has withheld public comment on the legislation.
She's probably going to veto it.
The legislation, House Bill 314, Human Life Protection Act, bans all abortion in the state except when abortion is necessary in order to prevent a serious health risk to the woman, according to the bill's text. It criminalizes the procedure, reclassifying abortion as a Class A felony, punishable by up to 99 years in prison for doctors.
So life in prison.
So we're talking about literal back alley abortion times for Alabama women.
So I guess this
There's not going to be a doctor
I guess this
in
is
Alabama
not the
that'll
one
do
with
this.
the 6 week provision. This is only to save the life.
And it's crazy
of the
because
mother.
Mississippi passed a heartbeat bill. This state we're in, Louisiana, is passing, trying to pass a heartbeat bill, depending on if the federal government, or not federal government, but the federal courts strike down the heartbeat bill. I mean, you're talking about a block potentially if this moves forward of states where people have no access to abortions, or women, rather.
Yep.
And the funny thing about this, someone pointed this out on Twitter that I saw. If you give 99 years to a doctor for performing an abortion, that means you're actually willing to give more time probably to the doctor who performed the abortion than the rapist
Yes.
who caused the pregnancy in the first place.
Okay, the rapist gets 15 years. The doctor, unfortunately, has to get 99 years in prison.
It's a sad day in Alabama, said Senate Minority Leader Bobby Singleton in the debate leading up to the vote. You just told my daughter you don't matter in the state of Alabama. After the bill passed, Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth voiced his support for the measure,
Sounds like
with
a winner.
liberal states approving radical late-term and post-birth abortions. Oh, God.
What's radical about them?
Roe must be challenged. I am proud that Alabama is leading the way, Ainsworth tweeted on Tuesday night. All right, so here's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to launch nukes at Alabama and wipe it off the face of the fucking earth.
You know what the sad thing is, TJ?
What's that?
Alabama would look exactly the same afterwards.
No, there'd be a
decimated
lot less greenery.
Well, maybe for a couple of fucking seasons. But then it would just be Alabama again. The same shit kickers would come up out of their fucking caves and holes and shit.
We're
It's us. We're the mutant fucking Alabamans. Now we got 3 arms and 2 heads
Oh,
apiece.
dude, I'm not all surprised because when we did the fucking meetup at the Big Chief, I was like, I'm gonna fucking get a Jack and Coke for me, TJ, and Paul. Yeah, we're at this bar. It's gonna be great. This is after we went to the Big Chief and everything.
Yeah.
And I went up there and I'm like, I want 3 Jack and Cokes. The guy's like, you want to drink 3 Jack and Cokes? Like I'm saying this bullshit. I'm like, well, yeah, that's what I'm getting with me and 2 other people. Well, I'm gonna see their IDs too. Oh, it's like Alabama, dude. Even Louisiana is bad, but I've never been to a state was so uptight about drinking that it's like you can't buy drinks for other people.
There was definitely an atmosphere of like real super conservatism in Alabama.
I feel bad for our actual cool fans.
Yeah,
that live in
that's
that
the
state.
thing is that like a lot of the people that came to that meetup were local folks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they definitely wouldn't support this as far as I'm
Fuck
concerned.
no. I don't think so.
Rainbow
I don't wanna speak for them, but-
Alabama. So yeah, we'll be
I'm
keeping
down
our
for
eyes
that.
on this story for sure. The ACLU, of course, has vowed to fight it tooth and nail. So
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
see.
I
how
mean,
that
well, this is
goes.
all just a political gambit, anyways. This is the idea: is that this is going to go to the Supreme Court, and somehow we're going to get states' rights again with abortion, and then all conservative states can ban abortion basically in a matter of years.
Awesome, great for them. Audience member calls 911 after Middle Eastern comment made at comedy show in Naples.
Okay, and they arrested the person that made the call, right?
This is a Florida man, isn't it?
Florida man called 911 on a comedian.
yeah. He should fucking be arrested for wasting police
Well, how do you
time.
know, Scotty? You don't even know what what he called about yet.
It said a comedy club. I imagine it was a joke.
Comedian. His name is Ahmed. As
Okay.
the people raised their names, they said,
Hold on, let's listen to the full tape because he provides a lot more context.
Okay,
to
Oh
the
sure.
God,
story.
but it's so boring.
It's not boring, Paul.
It is.
It's very important that you understand.
That supercut is better, TJ. Just watch that.
No, because I don't know. All right, fine. I guess I'll default to you on this.
I mean, you
Where
can
are you from?
explain a
I'm
little
from
bit
Iraq.
better than
Hey,
he does.
TJ.
I'm from.
Shut up, Scotty.
So
No, TJ. I just want to point out, dude. Paul runs you now.
I guess
Paul,
so.
bitch.
let me just tell you what happened.
Okay, sure.
He goes to this fucking comedy club. The fucking comedian is Ahmed. He asks if there's any Middle Easterners in the audience, and obviously because he is a Middle Easterner,
Ahmed.
there's a few. They
Well,
were-
the reason I wanted to play his original fucking phone call is because the guy who calls in feels the need to like explain like. I guess there was a lot of Middle Easterners there because his name was Ahmed, and the only reason I was there is because I got a free ticket, and that's the only reason I was there.
right.
Like he's real scared.
Oh, dude.
Anyway, yeah,
Just
Paul,
play,
go ahead.
and we can probably play this. He asks,
So
he asks
he-
the people to raise their hands if they're from the Middle East.
Pakistan. I'm from here. I'm from there. He said, that's great. He said, we could organize our own little terrorist organization.
That is the.
Uh-oh.
It's a joke.
Nuh-uh.
It's a joke.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, it is.
Nuh-uh.
They're at
No,
a comedy
Scotty.
show. They're at a
Listen,
fucking mosque.
Ahmed
They're at a comedy show.
specifically asked why
He
all those
pub-
Muslims were there, dude.
He publicly said this is a joke. If he really, if Ahmed was really interested and set up a terrorist organization, would he go to a comedy show, have people buy a ticket, and then fucking go and make a joke like that? It was just a joke.
You're so blue-pilled on this, Scotty, dude. You don't
I'm
understand
sorry.
what's really going on. Look,
I
what
guess
do
I
you
don't.
what do you see a lack of around America? Mosques, right?
No, there's
They don't
plenty of mosques in
have.
America.
I know that there's mosques around here, but they're not anywhere near as accessible as like a Christian church would be.
Well, no.
Right. So they're using the comedy clubs.
Right. So they need a place to train and radicalize the youth. And what better place than Yuck Yucks down the street with the fucking 50-cent draft beer
Dude,
happy hour?
God, he's right.
I'm onto this, dude.
What's this video down below, dude?
What's this?
Okay, this is Ahmed's.
This is Ahmed's Twitter.
So, do you want to tell them what's going on here?
I should tell you what's
Yeah.
going on. Well,
Yeah.
I'm not
So
even sure.
you're
what's
the
going
owner.
on.
I'm looking-
not
my
even
hands are
sure what's
shaking. It's
going
so
on
funny.
after all 20 some odd years of having a comedy club. We've never had someone call the police on anybody's set before, but this is new, so this is interesting. We're all curious as to we're supposed to be handling this, but I think you can continue with your set.
Well, officer, these two officers here.
I don't really know.
The cops are taking this so serious. Like, all right, I guess.
Oh no.
I guess we technically have to go investigate this.
Wow.
Sir, are you in fact planning to organize a terrorist organization here? Yes, I am. Of course.
No, that was actually a joke.
Something.
By the way, the point of the joke totally proven true and valid by this retard who called 911.
Yeah. I hope.
Because the whole point of the joke is, this is how we're perceived by people. Ha ha ha! Isn't that ridiculous? And then this guy's like, "Uh-oh!
I honestly
I
hope.
think I just walked into an Al Qaeda meeting."
I hope that this dude is fined for these officers' time and for the time of the fucking operator at least.
He's not gonna be. He's not
Because
gonna be
that's
at all.
just a fucking like
I was just real
utter
concerned.
waste of public fucking like resources right there.
He said the cops. If you read his tweet below, he said even the cops are like, "What the fuck is this? Why were we called?" Like, it's just ridiculous.
What an idiot.
God, just ban this guy from all comedy shows, dude. He
Seriously.
can never. If he's so dumb, he can't figure out that's a fucking joke. He doesn't belong there.
You know what, dude?
What?
After that Alabama story, I just had an idea.
What's that?
Why don't we just leave Alabama but make it like Dumbtopia?
Yeah.
Where it's like they don't get to affect any national law, but we don't tell them that. You know what I mean?
Right.
We treat them in public like they're like, oh yeah.
And
you're
then, like,
still a state.
whenever there's an election or something, we can be like, all right, so the electoral college tallies are
Alabama gets 10 special points.
91 to 420, and
Yep.
and of course, Alabama's 17 special points go here. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And I'm like, yeah, our points is special.
Yeah, we got 17 points.
And then we just start like, sending the dumbs there to live amongst one another
and we can
under their own rules.
We gotta get the people in Alabama who unfortunately shouldn't be there because they're too smart to live there
right.
out.
They gotta. Well, yeah, we'll let them know this is happening.
Right. We gotta we'll have someone come on TV and say it in a way that only smart people would understand.
Fuck that. We'll hide the instructions under a bar of soap.
There you go. Well, then I wouldn't see it. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
well, you don't need to see it, TJ.
I'm not in Alabama anyway.
You're a ringleader.
I'm just saying that hygiene and fucking intelligence don't necessarily go hand in hand.
Okay, TJ. All right. Your point is made, TJ.
I say we get the architect from the Matrix to come do his big erudite speech, but in the process let people know that fucking Alabama is now a sanctuary for the dumbs. I don't think Alabama's big enough to house all of America's dumbs.
I mean, there's a lot of wilderness we drove through that could be carved out. We could build all kinds of, dumbopolis, retardopia,
and they'd be happier there.
Maronia.
Hey, they'll have a nice little coast area too. They can still go to the
Yeah,
beach
yeah.
and
The
stuff.
coastal area could have like a Latin flavor. We could call it idiota.
Idiota.
You know what I mean?
We're giving them a beach. We're giving them some mountains
get
at the
some
top of the
beach.
state.
Yeah,
I mean, they're getting hills.
I think
They're
they will.
everything.
They'll be pretty happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Retardtopia is coming, dude.
Yeah, let's do it. Trump's not going to do it, but next time we have a good president, if that ever happens again, we need to write them our proposal.
Yeah, Dumbtopia needs to happen for sure.
Dumbtopia. It's going to be awesome. Southwest passenger kicked off flight for making vodka joke. This is actually kind of like part of a joke block that I've got of people getting in trouble for jokes.
Oh, I see, TJ. Look at that.
So a Southwest Airlines passenger was removed from a flight at Sacramento International Airport last week after jokingly asking a flight attendant if the water being handed out was vodka.
As he should.
Why
be.
was he kicked off the flight?
According to KTXL, the May 8th flight from Sacramento, California to Austin, Texas by way of Los Angeles had been delayed for several hours because of a maintenance light and the subsequent need to refuel when flight attendants began to pass out water to passengers. He said something like, "They should be passing out vodka because we've been waiting so long." Passenger Peter Uzelak, told KTXL, referring to the unidentified man's witty remark. Uzelak said the flight attendant, who he described as young, was not amused. She came by and was like, "I don't think that, and I didn't like your joke." Then my
Who
wife
fucking cares?
Then my wife tried to butt in and say, "Look, we've all been in this plane for hours," and she says, "Well, so have I. Get used to it," added Uzelak. Then all of a sudden, I see her on the telephone up in front.
So this chick was all salty, feeling all shitty, heard somebody make a fucking joke, got mad about it, and decided to use her pull to fuck with them.
Yeah, after this dude, imagine that. You're on a plane waiting to take off for hours. You make a fucking joke about vodka, and then you're kicked off by some snooty bitch flight attendant. And people started yelling then. In fact, people stood up. I stood up. People were saying this man didn't do anything. The man wasn't charged with any crime, but the incident promoted Uzelak to file a complaint with Southwest against the flight attendant. If they have this in their records, maybe it will prevent this from happening again.
No,
it won't. I have been flying for decades, and I've never seen anything like this.
It's because now people feel like that if you say anything that's offensive to them, and they can use it against you, and you know what?
This is just Tumblerinas are starting to spill out into into the world.
That's
And
exactly
actually
what it is.
try to apply their standards to
all
real
she
life.
all she has to say to the pilot and the people's, "I don't feel comfortable having this person on the phone."
Oh, kick him off.
Oh, dude,
Yep,
scroll
he's
back
gone.
down again and listen to the robotic-ass fucking response that Southwest sent him.
regret.
We regret any less than positive experience a customer has on board our aircraft. We welcome over 100 million customers each year, and we aim to maintain the comfort of all.
While? What?
While.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
More proof it was written by a fucking bot.
Yeah, thanks,
We
AI.
regret any less than positive experience a customer has on board our aircraft.
Oh, sorry. I guess it's just a weird break
While
in the fucking while delivering.
Delivering Southwest hospitality.
Yeah.
We share this report with our customer relations team, the airline said.
Yeah, we shared the report.
Wow.
We shared it around.
Bullshit. They didn't do anything.
How about we fired this flight attendant and here's some free miles?
That would be an actually good response.
Yeah, if
Your
this
next
person actually
trip's
did
on us.
something, that's one thing.
Right-wing comedian's prison sentence sparks free speech debate in Bolsonaro's Brazil.
Oh, well, let's just say it's dead.
Rio de Janeiro. Danilo Gentili, probably pronouncing that wrong, sorry, is one of Brazil's most popular and most offensive comedians with a late-night talk show and a massive Twitter following. A typical Gentili joke might speculate about this man's sexual orientation or deride that woman's weight.
So he's an edgelord.
Right. But a burst of tweets against a congresswoman, at one point he implied she was a prostitute, proved too vulgar for Brazil's legislators.
Uh-oh.
And in 2017, he was ordered to delete the offensive tweet. So in characteristic response, he tore the order into pieces and rubbed them on his genitals in a video that went viral.
Good for him.
This guy's awesome, dude.
In the view of the Brazilian judiciary, Gentili had gone too far, and this month a court ordered him jailed for 6 months. The judge found that Gentili's action was intended to offend and never to be confused with a simple piece of spontaneous humor. Gentili has cast himself as a martyr to political correctness. I think you guys have cast him as that by putting him in jail for a joke.
Yep.
I never imagined one day being sentenced to prison for protesting against censorship, he tweeted. He is appealing, and legal analysts say he's unlikely to see the inside of a cell, but the line between offensive and criminally offensive has become a central issue. Here, let me help you out. There's no line.
Yeah.
There's no line. There's no such criminally offensive is a distinction that shouldn't fucking exist.
Giving offense is never criminal. There's never a point where it's a criminal offense, ever.
Brazilian law, which is largely modeled on the U.S. system, includes in its constitution echoes of the First Amendment's guarantee of freedom of expression, but a criminal provision that allows penalties for those who disrespect public officials opens a loophole
that
for
should not be
censorship.
A law.
Yeah,
disrespect.
You can't
public
have
officials?
a First Amendment if there's also a rule against disrespecting public officials.
The president is a fucktard. You've disrespected this politician. You can now go to jail. That's censorship. That's saying you can't criticize those above you. That's ridiculous.
Fuck you, Brazil. Brazil. So anyway, I just thought you guys might like to know what a tough world it is for jokes. Whether it's Muslim comedians getting paranoid right-wingers to call the cops on them, or it's Tumblerina flight attendants imposing their will on the passengers, or it's right-wing comedians being censored in Brazil. It's a dangerous time for jokes, ladies and gentlemen. So you better put on your straight, serious faces.
You might say something.
No smiles, no laughs.
You might say something that hurts someone's feelings.
Yeah, and if
that's
you do,
not okay.
If you do,
I mean, and from a certain perspective too, this is the most hilarious time ever.
Right.
So it's doubly sad that we're seeing crackdowns.
Dude, I literally so on my Twitter, that joke I did earlier about how 90% of the pregnancies in Alabama are incest and rape.
Yeah.
I put that joke on Twitter, and someone actually responded. Actually, only 2% of pregnancies result from incest and rape.
I think we did a show about that person on last Friday.
I think we did. I'm like, fuck you. Ugh.
It's like joke overhead.
TJ?
It's not even overhead. It's not even. He doesn't even exist on the same plane of reality as the fucking joke.
And I warned you on Twitter, TJ. I'm going to warn you again. You better be fucking careful, buddy.
I mean, that is a pretty edgy tweet to come rampaging back from a 4-week ban or whatever
TJ,
it was.
It was 1 week.
If I snap my fucking fingers, TJ, Twitter's gone, bitch.
Gone.
Oh, shit.
Stan Lee's ex-manager charged with elder abuse against comic book co-creator.
That's crazy.
Los Angeles, the former manager of Stan Lee has been charged with elder abuse against the late comic book legend, a Los Angeles court official said on Monday. Kia Morgan, who was charged on Friday with 5 counts of elder abuse, including false imprisonment, fraud, and forgery stemming from an incident last summer when Lee was 95 years old, a spokeswoman for the Los Angeles Superior Court Public Information Office told Los Angeles City News Service.
This is insane.
I mean, this just goes to show you that having a lot of money doesn't shield old people from this type of shit.
From abuse.
The spokeswoman
Fraud?
added that a warrant for Morgan's arrest had been issued. Morgan, a New York-based memorabilia collector who became involved with Lee in 2017, was served with a restraining order last year after Lee's family accused him of elder abuse. The Los Angeles District Attorney's Office on Monday said it was unable to provide any information. An attorney for Morgan could not be located, but last year Morgan denied allegations of abuse. Lee, the co-creator of Spider-Man, Iron Man, the Hulk, and dozens of other Marvel superheroes, died in November 2018 at the age of 95. In court documents last year, Morgan was accused of seizing control of Lee's Hollywood Hills home and hiring security guards with orders to keep away relatives and associates before moving the comic book creator to an unfamiliar condominium.
That's insane. I mean, in Hollywood Hills, I mean, as you guys well know, that's a fucking very rich area. I mean, you're not fucking broke if you live in Hollywood Hills. So, like, even his money and his fame and influence did not fucking insulate Stan Lee from the last year of his life to being abused.
Yep.
That's insane, man.
Crazy. Allegedly, anyway. Probably was, though. And I mean, we did a story about Stan Lee, and I'd heard about these allegations before, and I thought they had kind of been proven false, or at least there wasn't any evidence to continue on them. But I guess that evidence has been gathered to the point now where charges have been filed and warrants for the arrest have been issued. So, yeah, I mean, to take advantage of a 95-year-old,
I mean, think about what
pretty disgusting. To take advantage of Stan Lee, though,
Yeah, dude.
that's
Fuck
like,
this dude. This guy's a piece of shit.
or woman. Is it a woman?
It's a man.
It's a man.
Oh, it's a man.
Has a woman's name, Kia.
Okay, that's what I was
But
wondering.
it kept referring to him as a him, so I'm assuming that it is a
Don't
guy.
want to assume genders.
You don't want to be assume. When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me, Paul.
Well, just think
You know
about
that?
what like old people that are poor are subjected to in this country when, you know, they're just put in homes or whatever the fuck nobody's looking after. I mean, it's fucked up. If you've got this much money and you're able to be exploited to this extent.
Yeah, then I mean, imagine just the random,
Yeah, imagine if you got none and you're 95 and you're, you know, need some help to live. What the fuck?
I mean, it's so wildly varying because some people who are 95 have really large extended families that want to take care of them, and they're treated really well, and they live really good lives. And there's the other gradient of people that can barely take care of themselves or not at all, and are just basically living their own shit and piss and are abused.
Yeah.
It's just a crazy gradient that you see.
Yep. Payouts. Excuse me. All right. Payouts for 737 MAX crash victims will be partially based on how long did the victims know they were plunging to their deaths.
I hope this is just a joke, dude.
It's not. No. It's not a...
How long they knew they were... Okay.
What's a minute? What's a minute worth of that horror worth? I want to know.
The payouts for the 737 MAX crash victims will
how
be
do you
partly
know?
based on how long did the victims know they were plunging to their deaths. The Ethiopian flight crashed 6 minutes after takeoff, and Lion Air went down in about 11 minutes into the flight. In both instances, the victims knew their fate. There's a better chance of financial recovery if it took minutes rather than seconds for the plane to crash, Joe Power, a personal injury attorney representing some Ethiopian victims, told Bloomberg this week. In addition, the families could also be compensated for the psychological damages such as grief, sorrow, nightmares, and loss of companionship. In total, 346 people died in both Ethiopian and Lion Air 737 MAX crashes in the span of 5 months. Experts say that Boeing could be facing payouts in excess of $1 billion, around $2.89 million per family. 30 individual lawsuits have now been filed against Boeing on behalf of families, mainly Chicago, where Boeing is headquartered. And here we also have some audio reveals pilots angrily confronting Boeing about 737 MAX feature before second deadly crash.
Interesting.
So let's take a listen to that. I don't know if it's in this or if it's somewhere else in this article, but...
New audio obtained by CBS News reveals that several American Airlines pilots confronted Boeing about the safety features on the 737 MAX. That, of course, the airplane that's involved in 2 recent deadly crashes. CNN's Tom Foreman is live for us in Washington with
Which they
more.
denied there being any problems, by the way.
This meeting happened after the crash last fall near Indonesia, the fatal crash there. This was a meeting between airline union members and officials from Boeing, and they were discussing this automatic system called MCAS. Remember, MCAS is the system suspected in both of these accidents of tilting the tail of the plane to make the nose go down and ultimately forcing a crash. A system which many pilots were not aware was even on the plane before the first crash occurred. This is the meeting with the Boeing officials, and listen to the pilots and their frustration about not knowing about this system.
We flat out deserve to know what is on our airplanes. I don't disagree. These guys didn't even know the damn system was on the airplane, nor did anybody else.
I don't know that understanding this system would have changed the outcome of this.
And right there is the crux of the whole problem.
What?
Remember, this happened.
I don't know if,
Pilots had to be trained to use these types of planes. So you're telling me if they don't have all the information, it doesn't affect... So you're saying... you must be saying the software is so buggy that you rolled it out, this optional software, that you didn't even know what to anticipate.
In a world where there's any fucking justice, this company would be shut the fuck down and parceled out. There's absolutely no way that a company with this blatant disregard for the lives of the people that use its services should ever be allowed to conduct business within the fucking borders of this country or elsewhere and have headquarters in this fucking country.
Well,
yeah, Paul, but a lot of exports are planes. It's really going to hurt the economy, Paul. We
Fuck
just can't do that.
Those
Paul.
there are other companies that make fucking airplanes.
Yeah, but Boeing's the biggest. We're just gonna like Paul. Some people died. Is that big of a deal? People die in cars all the time.
Not to the people at Boeing, it isn't.
But Paul, look,
Which
people
is
die in cars.
a strange position to take when your job is literally ferrying groups of families around in the air.
Look, Paul, people die in cars all the time.
Well,
You're not saying we should ban auto manufacturers, are you?
Just so you know, instead of Boeing being shut down, the Trump himself actually just recently nominated the vice president of Boeing to be the new Secretary of Defense.
Amazing.
And by the way, this is a guy. His name is Patrick Shanahan. I'll show you that. Here he is.
What a fucking
some Republicans are almost certain
dude.
that they have the votes to confirm Patrick Shanahan as the next Secretary of Defense. That doesn't mean the process will be smooth and simple. Basically, this guy has actually been in trouble before for using his positions in government prior to this point to give contracts to Boeing.
Oh.
So as
I
Secretary,
have no concerns.
And as Secretary of Defense, one of the first things he said is that he's going to upgrade our military. So what company you imagine he's going to upgrade our military with?
That's the real answer to the question I had earlier of why Boeing isn't just disallowed from doing business, because a huge part of their business is military.
Oh, yeah.
And a huge chunk of their fucking budget is paid for in military dollars. So, there's a hand-in-glove relationship there that's not going to be fucking tested.
Right, and
that's why they're allowed to play
now
fast and
now we're
loose
going to
with
have
your
a
life.
Boeing man as Secretary of Defense, probably.
You bet your fucking ass if they were just a commercial airplane company, they'd have been shut down a long fucking time ago.
Boeing man.
It's the fact that they've got this like fucking good old boy relationship with the Pentagon, all these contracts, all these dollars changing hands, and who wants to stop that over some fucking Indonesians and Kenyans' lives? Fuck them.
Yeah, exactly.
Who cares?
Look, we cannot afford universal health care, Paul, but we can afford another $1 trillion in jets.
So last week, or actually just this Monday, we did an episode of Trump versus Bush, who's worse. And one of the things that really pushed pushed Bush to the top of the heap was his unilateral bullshit war in Iraq. That was a huge boondoggle and continues to fuck with us to this day.
What about the coalition of the willing? TJ?
Yeah. But Trump, I guess Trump saw our episode and was like, fuck that. I need an unnecessary war myself. So it looks like we're building up a war in Iran. U.S. pulls most personnel from Iraq as U.S. officials say Iranian military likely behind tanker attacks.
So there's been a series of terrorist attacks, I guess, on tankers in
Saudi Arabia,
the Gulf, and this is basically being used as if you want my opinion,
it's the Gulf of Tonkin.
Yeah,
right?
It's the Gulf of Tonkin incident.
Yeah.
This is our justification for escalating military presence near Iran, and probably that is the justification for a war. Eventually,
did the ghost of John McCain inhabit Trump now? I mean, what's going on?
It's John Bolton, dude.
Well, and we've talked briefly in other fucking flash frieds too about the crisis in Venezuela now.
Yes,
where that's
it looks like Trump's actually backing away from that. It looks like he's hot to trot for Iran.
Yeah,
he's chosen the Middle East.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh,
well, the devil, you know.
See, what happened was Bolton came to Trump and said, hey, we just got to back this coup in Venezuela. It's going to be super easy. It's going to be awesome. And then the coup failed. And then so Trump's like, you know what? Fuck that. But now Iran, that's the place. So U.S. officials are pointing the finger at elite Iranian military forces for the sabotage attacks on oil tankers near the Persian Gulf. A week after claiming Iranian preparations for possible attack on U.S. forces in the region, the U.S. has ordered most State Department personnel out of the neighboring Iraq. U.S. and Iranian officials insist nobody wants a war, and President Trump has denied plans to send 120,000 troops to the region. Yeah, I'm sure. The U.S. military has refuted a senior British commander's assessment that there has been no increased threat from Iranian-backed forces in Iraq and Syria. So basically, we're gearing up for war with Iran.
Yep.
And this is just part of the buildup.
I mean, it may not go there, but this is definitely what happens if you look at it historically. When we intervene militarily in these regions, there's kind of like a buildup of our troops in response to some attack against our infrastructure, the local infrastructure, which we've decided to protect. And we build up troops, and then eventually they're boots on the ground. And Iran is going to be a nasty one, dude. I mean, there's no fucking Middle Eastern country that we're going to be able to waltz into and have an easy war. But man, dude, if this one pops off, it's going to be especially ugly.
Well, you know, it's going to support us in that region too. The Saudis, if the U.S. goes to war, they're definitely going to be supporting the U.S. there. I mean,
Right.
Israel. I mean, that's very strong ties to the U.S. there,
Yeah.
and obviously, have they been severely confrontational with Iran in the past?
It's just it's a nightmare.
So this is the British general that was referenced in that previous article.
Liar.
So, undermining Trump-Bolton war narrative, British general says no evidence of increased threat from Iran. A British general threw a wrench in the Trump administration's narrative that Iran is plotting attacks on American troops in the Middle East by telling reporters gathered at the Pentagon Tuesday that there's no increased threat from Iranian-backed forces in the region. We monitor them along with a whole range of others because that's the environment we're in, said Major General Chris Gaika, speaking via video from Baghdad. If the threat level seems to go up, then we'll raise our force protection measures accordingly. Apparently eager to squash the general's remarks, the U.S. Central Command issued a statement just hours later disputing Gaika's comments and repeating a national security advisor John Bolton's unsubstantiated claim that American intelligence has identified credible threats from Iranian-backed forces in Iraq and Syria.
John Bolton, by the way, one of the architects
of the Iraq War.
One of the major architects of the Iraq War, whose fucking disgusting haunted corpse somehow still walks the halls of fucking power in this country. This dude is a fucking war criminal. And he's beating the drum of war in fucking the Middle East yet again because he and his buddies cash in on that shit. And we're letting it happen right under our noses.
Oh, dude, fucking John Bolton. I think I know what happened. He went yacht shopping. He's all like, oh, man, I won't be able to get the deluxe model. They're like, start another war. It's on us. Oh, well, wait a minute.
Dude, it is just blatantly obvious. John Bolton enters the fucking Trump administration and all of a sudden Iran is a threat, even though none of the world intelligence agencies say that it is. Does that sound familiar to anybody else? Sounds just like Iraq. You remember the weeks and weeks of like international inspection teams that the UN sent to Iraq and found nothing?
Mm-hmm.
They went to these trucks, all these suspected fucking sites, and were allowed access, and they found fucking nothing.
They're hiding them, Paul.
And we still went to war anyway and found nothing.
Yep.
Just absurd, man.
And I saw Trump the other day. He was doing a press conference or something, and he's like, look, Iran just needs to sit down and talk to me. We can make a deal. The only thing I don't want is for you to have a nuclear weapon. It's like, you mean like the deal that already existed and was made by the Obama administration that you canceled? You fucking retard.
It was a terrible deal.
What a twat. Yeah, it was such a terrible deal for us to... The deal was we dropped sanctions, not all of them all at once, but we steadily dropped sanctions as you comply with not building a nuclear weapon. How was that a terrible deal? What about that fucking deal was terrible? Nothing. It's just because Obama did it, so Trump undid it, and now Iran's going to shit. So they're actually putting more and more sanctions up against Iran in an attempt to collapse the Iranian government.
I mean,
now we're talking war with Iran.
Well, it's yet again the fucking Trump administration deferring to the Saudi Arabian narrative and our own allies, which I'm pretty sure that the U.S. and the U.K. are very strong allies, and saying, nope, this guy's full of shit. The threat is there. We got to fucking be proactive. It's like, what? Where's the evidence?
And Bernie Sanders, of course, come out and said, we must not go to war with Iran. It's not like he's the only Democrat saying that. But a lot of them, MSNBC, if you go watch that, apparently they're just beating the war drums over there.
MSNBC?
MSNBC.
They've gone weird.
The only person in mainstream media is my understanding. I saw Cenk Uygur tweet about this, and I don't like Cenk, but
if he's right, he's right.
But he's right. And according to him, the only person in mainstream media right now that's actually taken a proactive stance against this war is fucking Tucker Carlson.
What? I don't even know what world did
It's a brave new world,
Dude,
man.
it's the fucking Mandela effect in full swing again.
Well, listen,
where
dude.
Cocker is the only voice of...
Someone go check the spelling of Berenstain, because I'm sure... I think we're in the Hitler-Stain universe at this point.
The Shitler
They were
stain.
always the Hitler-Stain bears. What are you talking about?
I don't even know, man.
All right, so Bernie Sanders delivers online address. We must not go to war with Iran. I mean, it's like, why do we need to be told this at this point? Like Trump ran partially on no more interventionist foreign wars.
Wow.
That was one of his key signature points running on his campaign
The
trail.
Vietnam War, not enough.
Dude,
the Iraq War, not enough.
It has
Now
been-
this one?
Bolton has totally taken over the administration's foreign policy.
It's been
and
it's been
insane.
incredibly evident since day one that Trump is just a sponge for the policy of others. He doesn't really have any of his own. So he gets people who he thinks is smart to come tell him what to do. And John Bolton is clearly the newest dude on the list. You know, he might get fired for this. If there's backlash, that's the only like good thing that might come out of this. You know, if there's a bunch of backlash over this saber rattling with Iran, then Trump might fire Bolton.
There needs to be.
There's a lot of black ass, Paul.
But the reason the media is so mum on this is because this is how it's degraded. The media wants a fucking war.
Yeah, because
Because
first
it
of
gives
all,
them rapt attention, it gives them eyeballs, it gives them better ad rates. That's why you don't hear any fucking media figures coming out against this war, because they know it's fucking good times are here again.
Yeah, not only that, all the war profiteers, you know, like how much war profiteer money is going to be funneled into the media, along with all of the rapt attention of the
everyone
American
makes
people
money, dude.
tuning into the latest war news.
Because guess what? You still have to consume overseas. They're still going to have Xboxes and shit. Everyone's going to make a bunch of money. So
The media at this point, especially they're directly complicit in pushing the narrative of whoever's in power.
The deep state, if you want.
I mean, you can call it what you fucking want. It's just useless as an informational tool now. Now it's just like a propaganda arm of the government. And it pretends to be at odds with one another, but look at where they are on war. On war, all of these fucking rancorous fucking news stations that all hate each other, they've all got the same narrative. All being mum on it. Oh, let's not cover that.
And the only fucking person with fucking principles in the entire media is Tucker fucking Carlson.
You know what? Anything he's got, Jon Stewart beat into him with a fucking big, ugly stick.
But hey, guys, what happened on Game of Thrones? What happened with these other pop culture figures? What's going on with them?
I don't give Tucker any credit. If he's a better man now than he was when he was wearing that spinning, water squirting bow tie of a clown, then he owes it to Jon Stewart, who was the only man in his life that took him by the scruff of his neck and put him over his fucking knee and paddled his fucking ass.
Jon Stewart just needs to come back. I'm sorry.
Bad Tucker! Bad Tucker!
This is great. Trump supporters who donated to GoFundMe wall now worry they got scammed. Shocking. You guys remember that? You guys remember that dude started a
He got
GoFundMe?
over $22 million,
Yeah.
dude.
He's like, if the government ain't gonna build the wall, we just build it. And they started the GoFundMe. Anyway, now all the people who donated to it are starting to worry that they got scammed and starting to demand refunds. I don't think they're getting no refunds, though. In December, triple amputee veteran Brian Kolfage became a right-wing sensation after he raised more than $20 million for a GoFundMe campaign aiming to raise $1 billion to fund parts of Trump's proposed border wall. Kolfage wrote that he launched the campaign because he was upset by too many illegals taking advantage of the United States taxpayers and the political games from both parties. In January, Kolfage pledged to refund every single penny of the money if the campaign did not hit its $1 billion goal. But since then, he has continued to post on the page about immigration, and in January launched a nonprofit called We Build the Wall, promising to use the money to build portions of the wall himself on private land.
A fool and his money are soon parted.
After founding the organization,
Look,
Kolfage told the New York Times in January the project would break ground within weeks. In March, he told American Family Radio the project would start breaking ground in April.
But his promise makes no sense. Think about the face of that. A wall is only as good as what it's protecting. So if you build, let's say he builds 20 miles of wall. Let's say it even did happen, which is not going to. It'll never happen. People can just go around that fucking wall. It doesn't make any sense for him to build an incomplete wall. Why would you do that? We're going to build 3/4 of a castle wall to protect the castle. What? That doesn't fucking work. It's just... I don't even know how people could give this guy $22 million.
Kolfage was even joined in his efforts by former Trump aide Steve Bannon and former Kansas Secretary
Bannon
of
got a
State
cut?
Chris Kobach, who sits on the We Build the Walls board of directors. Kobach claimed in February the group was ready to break ground probably in April. Now we're in the middle of May, and the Daily Beast reports that there is no evidence that construction has started. The lack of updates is very concerning, Joshua Green, a Trump supporter who donated to the effort, told the outlet. Donors have been asking questions on social media, too. I am very disappointed in you, Brian Kolfage. Where are the progress photos? One woman asked on the group's Facebook page. Yeah, I'll tell you where they are. They're where they're always going to be, in your fucking imagination.
Yep.
Yeah, you gave money to someone you knew nothing about. I mean, absolutely nothing about. This guy's not like a successful, like, I've built all kinds of stuff. Like, he's just some dude on the internet that fucking scammed you. He tricked you.
Dude, if they posted a real groundbreaking picture of this, it would be Steve Bannon shoveling a big old fucking expensive dinner into his big nasty mouth. Because he's been cashing checks on this fucking stupid thing along with the other two guys involved for fucking months. This is so stupid. Like, just such a dumbass way to fucking waste your money.
I don't know what you're talking about, Paul. These people are trying to build a wall.
I mean, platforms like GoFundMe have got to get really fucking serious about what they allow on their site. They've got to.
The fact that there isn't some kind of fucking legislation nationally in the works limiting these fucking programs, because I hate
Fuck
to
that,
say it,
dude. I wish I had thought of this. I wish I had thought of the fucking I'll build the wall.
The TJ wall, best wall of all.
Go to the border, put a fucking toothpick. It's like, from this toothpick, a mighty wall shall grow.
Fuck that. Just go in your backyard and put some cinder blocks up and shit and just be like, progress photos.
I love it.
The wall's coming.
Pat Robertson, passing Equality Act will make land vomit you out.
What?
Yeah.
Everybody in this audience right now, go to your telephones and jam up those phones up there and let them know that you are opposed to what is called the religious...
Equality Act.
The Equality Act. It's just, of course, it's...
Let them know that you're opposed to the...
What's it again?
God damn it. What was it again?
What's its name, an act?
Oh, there was some kind of act.
Dude, you know what I realized? That's just his minder, dude. That's like Pat Robertson's fucking minder.
I'm tired.
What the hell's that called again? The Equality Act. You're against
Equality
it.
Act, pal.
Call the switchboard and let them know you're against the Equality
Dude,
Act.
the only thing Pat Robertson can do totally on his own at this point is fucking get money. If they brought up money in this thing, his ass would be on point. He'd be coherent. He'd be succinct. On message.
Tap your receiver twice and get the operator on the line and ask her to direct you to your Capitol Hill switchboard.
And all, they always give the good names to these things. This is a devastating blow to religious freedom and to the sanctity of America. If you want to bring the judgment of God on this nation, you just keep this stuff up. You know, I was reading in Leviticus where it said, because of these things, the land will vomit you out. Vomit you out. I think God will say, I've had it with America. If you do this kind of stuff, I'm going to get rid of you as a nation.
God, the all-knowing, all-seeing, all-powerful creator of the universe, because a fucking act of man is going to go, yep, we're done. No, God's breaking up with you. You know what? It's not you. It's me. I'm done.
Dude,
See ya.
It looks like he's got a testicle growing to each side of his chin. You see this?
Testojowls, dude.
Look, what is that, dude? It's the bottom part of his face is becoming a nutsack. Fuck this old idiot.
Oops.
I don't even know anything about this legislation. Have you heard anything about this legislation?
I don't know.
It's just some fucking...
I'm going to get rid of you
it's some
as a
bullshit
nation.
that's not going to happen.
You know, there's plenty of stuff that's going on when you look at the potential of atomic war, when you look at the solar strike, you know, something on our grid there. You can go down the line of devastation that could happen to our nation. We don't want that. We don't want it. We want the blessing of God, not the curse of God. So, again, call your don't let these people get away with this nonsense. This is
so we pass this bill. God may have may just take out all our electronics. He may just destroy our country. God's an asshole then.
Okay, so it's the Equality Act. Let's see what it does. Blah, 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 blah. It doesn't really say here. Let's go click on it here. Maybe it'll tell us here. Interfaith groups in support of the Equality Act.
Christians,
blah, blah,
Muslims,
blah, blah.
pagans, Jews.
I don't know what the fuck it's about. I'm assuming it's some kind of maybe it's like protections for LGBT people against discrimination or something. The Equality Act from the Human Rights Campaign. What is the Equality Act? The Equality Act would provide consistent and explicit non-discrimination protections for LGBTQ people across key areas of life, including employment, housing, credit, education, public
dear God, no!
Federally funded programs and jury service.
This is an attack on religious liberty. He was right. The wise old chimp is right again.
Yeah, but like I said, it's not going to pass. Trump's not going to sign this fucking bill.
There's doodads now that they can kill you with, I hear.
You're gonna kill me with the doodad.
They got all kinds of doohickeys.
89, dude. Pat Robertson's still shilling his bullshit. 89. I guess if you give Pat Robertson credit for anything, he's been lying for a long time.
Are you guys saying democracy doesn't work?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
You say that too, Paul?
Doesn't work, dude.
I've been saying that.
You've been saying so. You guys both say it doesn't work. What if I were to show you a story that proves that democracy does work?
Okay, well, I'm willing to change
that
my
the
mind.
people get what they vote for.
Okay.
All
Fair
right.
enough, man.
Here you go. Malaysian teen believed to have jumped to death after Instagram poll.
Wow, I'm wrong.
Malaysian police are investigating the case of a teenager believed to have jumped to her death after asking her social media followers to vote on whether she should kill herself. The 16-year-old girl, who was not named,
That's a really bad place to ask.
had run a
dude.
poll on photo sharing app Instagram with the question, really important, help me choose, DL.
Death, life.
Which stands for death and life. The poll showed 69% of the girl's followers chose D, he said. We are conducting a post-mortem to determine whether there were other factors in her death, he said, adding the girl had a history of depression. But you know what? The people of Instagram voted for this girl to die, and she is dead.
And she did.
Wow.
Great.
I mean,
Thank
direct
you.
democracy in action there.
Right. I mean, how are you going to deny the power of democracy now?
Of course, the counter argument would be that all of social media is a hive of horribleness and should probably be wiped from the fucking internet in total.
Right.
And we would all be better off if that were done.
But democracy, though.
But democracy, that is true. This was, hey, do I stay or do I go?
The people voted.
The people voted.
And they voted right.
And she did.
And she did.
She's dead.
She did.
Yep.
They voted for death. She did.
Well,
they
I
got what
changed
they
my
wanted.
mind.
She
Democracy
delivered.
works.
She delivered her on her campaign promise. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so this is great. We don't have the whole thing because it's like 16 minutes. But if you haven't gone and watched this, go watch the whole fucking full thing. But we'll watch this.
We got a little highlight reel here.
This is Andrew Neil destroys, and for some reason it's in quotes. It shouldn't be. It should just be.
I think they did that because
all
that's
caps.
Ben
I
Shapiro's
understand.
thing.
Yeah, I understand because every time you see a Ben Shapiro video, it's
Destroyed.
Ben Shapiro utterly destroys stupid feminist
Right.
or whatever the
Ben
fuck.
Shapiro destroys Snowflake. Yeah.
So anyway, let's go ahead and let's full screen this and let's watch and this guy that is about
highlight reel.
This is the highlight reel of Andrew Neil and Ben Shapiro. Andrew Neil is a big conservative in the UK, and Ben Shapiro at some point in this calls him a leftist and all kinds of shit, and it's embarrassing. And just watch how Ben Shapiro reacts when he's asked actual questions.
Why is it that a bill banning abortions after a woman has been pregnant for 6 weeks is not a return to the Dark Ages? What's your answer?
My answer is something called science. Human life exists at conception. It ought to be protected. Now, back to my question to you. You purport to be an objective journalist. BBC purports to be an objective down-the-middle network. It obviously is not. It never has been. And you as a journalist are proceeding to call one side of the political aisle ignorant, barbaric, and sending us back to the Dark Ages. Why don't you just say that you're on the left? Is this so hard for you? Why can't you just be honest?
Mr.
Seriously,
Shapiro,
it's a serious question.
Mr. Shapiro, if you only knew how ridiculous that statement is, you wouldn't have said it. I just
Really?
asked you a question.
And I asked you a question. You failed to answer a single one of mine. Frankly, I find this whole...
Because you're not there to interview him.
He's interviewing you on his show.
Duh.
Yeah, he doesn't have to answer your questions. You're there to be asked questions and answer them. He's there to ask questions.
He actually, I watched the full 16-minute interview to try and find out what happened, and I still don't really know why he stormed off or whatever, but this dude actually explains to him at one point the job of an interview journalist.
Right.
He's like, no, you see, it's my job to ask you questions that I may not agree with the question, but it's my job to ask you the question to see what your response is. So you respond to a wide variety of opinions and stuff. That's my job as a journalist. You know what I mean? He has to explain to Ben Shapiro what he does.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that Ben Shapiro is here promoting a book about how there's too much anger in American politics.
Right.
Everyone just needs to calm down.
Yeah, and he's so angry the whole interview.
And this entire interview, he's furiously angry. And he's furiously angry because he's being asked actual questions.
Right.
I mean, like, look, it's not like he's calling them gotcha questions. They're not gotcha questions. No. They're like totally reasonable fucking questions that are just, they're critical questions. But you know what? He's asked the critical questions, and then the floor is turned to him so he can provide any answer he wants to. But instead of actually engaging in this battle, in this war of ideas that he claims is so important to him, all he can do is retreat like a fucking snowflake. Like every left-winger that he's ever criticized for not being able to take the heat.
I mean, if this old fucking soft-assed British coot is too much for you, then who are you going to go up against here, Ben? Why do you keep dodging people like Kyle Kulinski?
I mean, it's no wonder he dodged Kyle.
Like, why do you keep
this?
Why do you keep dodging like young, vibrant people with minds that you want to engage with and ideas that would clash with yours? Why do you go like the only time you expose yourself is to go on this sallow old sack of fucking British fucking mush? And then you can't even handle his fucking limp dick questions, you pussy?
Thing a waste of time. If you want to read the book and critique the book, why don't you read and critique the book? If you want to critique me, you can think whatever you want of me.
Why don't you
frankly,
just try and
I don't
answer
care.
the
I don't frankly give a damn what you think of me. Since
who are you now? Is this fucking Gone with the Wind all of a sudden?
I don't give a damn what you think of me.
Quite frankly, Scarlett, I don't give a damn.
It wasn't like Andrew Neil was coming at him hostilely, too. It was just like he's asking him a question. He seems very calm and composed. And
Andrew Neil does not lose his cool once during
this
entire interview. Did Ben Shapiro
get some bad news or something before this interview? Because, like, it doesn't even seem like it's
woke up on the wrong side of the bed, maybe?
I mean, these aren't even really, like, that difficult
the bad
questions
news,
to answer.
Because this guy is used to either going on right-wing media and having his dick sucked, or alternatively, he's used to going on American media where you never get challenged and you just get to fucking be back-patted the whole time and coddled. So he actually goes on a tough program where he's asked tough questions and then his feet are held to the fire in terms of answering them. And he totally fucking haywires his system.
Yeah, it falls
because
apart.
Ben Shapiro doesn't have anything.
He exists.
He
in
doesn't
a fog
have
of
any sort of
sycophants.
actual fucking ideas. He doesn't want to discuss ideas. He doesn't even really want to discuss politics. He just wants to go boom, pwned the left again.
Let's see Ben get angry and storm.
I've never heard of you.
And I've never heard of you until I briefed myself for this. But that's not the issue. You have a
Then
new
why the hell
book
are you
out,
interviewing
and
me,
it's an interesting book. But my
it's my
point is, your
job.
book claims that
Well, it'd be nice if you would quote it from time to time.
Your book is, well, actually, I've done so several times, and I'm about to do so again, if you would let me just finish the question. Your book
frankly, I don't
claims
think
that
this- you know what?
society
Honestly-
is turning
honestly,
its
sir.
back on Judeo-Christian values.
Yeah, this
What are
considering
those
what-
values?
considering
what are the values it's turning its back on?
I'm not inclined to continue an interview with a person as badly motivated as you as an interviewer.
He just
So I think
asked you
we're
a
done here.
question
I
with a
appreciate
direct
your time.
quotation from your book.
I am not going to answer a direct question about my... So, like...
You didn't quote my book. Okay, I'm going to quote your book now.
He was just asked a question about the very premise of his book, that we're getting away from Judeo-Christian values.
He's actually quoted the book twice in the interview prior to this.
Right, and now he's quoting it again to say, okay, so what are, in your mind, these Judeo-Christian values that are being moved away from? And Ben Shapiro's response is, I'm not going to fucking be sit here and be berated, blah, blah, blah. It is a totally fair question. We found Ben Shapiro's weakness. Reasonable questions that you don't let him weasel his way out of.
Right. He does well doing college tours where, like, dumbasses get up in the audience because he's smarter than the average, freshman college social justice warrior. But when somebody with an actual brain in their skull asks him a direct question, he short circuits.
It's not even a ponage thing, though. I mean, that's the whole thing about this. It's not like this guy's
I
out to pwn Ben Shapiro.
I watched
he asked
this,
him a normal question.
I watched this thing looking for that moment, and it never happens. Ben just unravels himself. The guy asks totally reasonable questions about his book, and Ben just slowly but surely goes off the fucking rails and leaves in a huff. The dude was clearly more fucking confused than most of the people watching this are. Like, he was just like, okay, all right, I love
this closing comment here, too.
Well, thank you
If
for
he's
your
good for it, I'll
time
put it
and
in.
for showing that
Public
anger is not part of American political discourse. Now, Mr. Shapiro, we'll say goodbye.
I love that, dude.
He wrecked him. Oh, he wrecked him in a sentence, dude. Eat shit, Ben Shapiro, you little fucking turd. God, he can't even handle it, dude. I feel like when I watched this for the first time, I was like you. I'm like, well, this guy must be just laying into Ben Shapiro. And it's like, another question now. It's like, what? Ben, you can't handle a question? He fucking quoted from your fucking book, dude. He's kind of bitchy, like, you're not plugging my book enough. He just fucking plugged the premise of the book. All you have to do is, hey, this is what I think.
Andrew Neil is basically just like, would you like some more rope, Ben?
Yeah.
And Ben's like, yes, I would. I'm going to hang myself with it.
Yeah. What a douche.
God. Well, I mean, if it's not, I mean, like, I watched Kyle Kalinske did a fucking great thing about this. I'm going to steal a line from his video. The Emperor has no clothes, and if it's not obvious now, it's never going to be obvious to you because, I mean, like, if you're defending Ben Shapiro as any sort of intellectual after this debacle, you're just a fucking fool, and I'm writing you off. Anyway, sky penis. Navy officers thought drawing male genitalia in the sky would be so funny before probe. It is funny.
Yeah, why isn't it funny?
It really is.
It actually is funny. It's still funny.
I mean, look, we have a vastly bloated military, but you know what? If they're going to do some good in the world, at least they're not dropping bombs on people. They're drawing sky penises.
Yeah.
What's so bad about that?
When two U.S. naval officers decided to create a phallic drawing in the clear blue skies across Washington State 2 years ago using the exhaust of their jet, they apparently never thought it would spark an official probe and draw the eyes of leadership thousands of miles away in the nation's capital, new transcripts show. Mostly because it shouldn't have, right? In an extensive investigation report obtained by the Navy Times through the Freedom of Information Act request, the two junior officers of Electronic Attack Squadron 130 appeared to have plenty of time to kill during their 90-minute training session on November 16th, 2017, before a spur-of-the-moment decision to make the sky drawing. Draw a giant penis, the pilot's cockpit officer said. That would be awesome.
Dude, I have an actual transcript, and it's pretty hilarious. They don't give it in this article. Do you want me to read some of what these guys were saying?
Go ahead.
So TJ just read the "you should totally try and draw a penis." They go on. He says the balls are a little lopsided. The pilot advised. Balls are complete. He reported moments later. I just got to navigate a bit over here for the shaft. Which way is the shaft going? The EWO asked. The shaft will be going to the left. The pilot answered. It's going to be a wide shaft. The EWO noted. I don't want to make it just like 3 balls, the pilot said. Let's do it, the EWO says. Oh, the head of that penis is going to be thick. And then the pilot says, some like Chinese weather satellite right now is like, what the fuck? The jet streaked across the sky, and the duo's magnum opus continued to take shape, showcasing the pilot's prowess in the process. The pilot said, to get out of this, I'm going to go down to like the right, the pilot said, and then we'll come back up over the top and try and get a look at it. And then he says, I have a feeling the balls will have dissipated by then. He says, it's possible. They flew away to a distance where they could take in their work. They cracked up in the cockpit and then said, oh, yes, that was fucking amazing, the pilot said. It's so obvious. And he said, that's a fucking dick, the EWO said. Dude, I'm amazed that it stayed. So
that is a skill of our pilots, though.
That's the full transcript.
If I was fucking president of this country, not only would these guys not be under investigation,
they'll get some medals, dude.
The Congressional Medal of Freedom would be given to these two fucking gentlemen, dude.
I mean, look, I'd rather my tax dollars go for fuel for jets to make skycocks than drop bombs on people, so I'm fine with
but
this.
Not to mention, dude, look at the skill of the pilots. They clearly did a training exercise.
That's a decent cock and balls.
I mean, look, he fucking drew it with a jet. With a fucking, I can't do that.
That's a decent cock and balls, man. I'm not joking.
He pulled it off.
He did.
He pulled it off.
God bless these gentlemen. I don't hope that they fucking face any serious charges over this.
They shouldn't.
Let's see what are they gonna do? What's gonna happen to them? Subsequent investigation. Blah 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 blah. The lieutenants responsible were not identified in the report, and it was not apparent what discipline they faced. Blah blah blah.
Should be none, dude.
Yeah, hopefully.
And
it was
fuck
none.
that. Leave these guys alone.
That was actually...
What's their crime? Doing something awesome?
Yeah.
Fuck you. This is also from Junkie, your favorite site. So the next Star Wars trilogy will be helmed by the Game of Thrones showrunners.
That's not a good sign, given how they're wrapping up this Game of Thrones shit.
Dog shit. Life, as the kids say, comes at you fast. When it was announced a little while ago that the Game of Thrones showrunners David Benioff and D.B. Weiss were to helm their own Star Wars trilogy, the reaction was largely positive. But that was back in the days when the Game of Thrones backlash was a quiet simmer, and the people dunking on the show were mostly those who weren't watching it. Nowadays, by contrast, Benioff and Weiss are enemies number 1 and 2, according to even many people who have followed the show from its very inception. After all, the reception to the final season has been so mixed, such a perfect pull between those who reckon its increasingly bleak turns are totally unsubstantiated and those who think this was all telegraphed years ago. That's not even the problem. The problem is not, it did such a dark turn, or this was telegraphed, or that's not the fucking crux of what's going on with Game of Thrones. The crux is that
it was ineptly supported.
Right. Most of the characters are not being written properly. No. The characters have been written inconsistently. Cersei had almost nothing to do this season.
The last 2 seasons of this show feel like somebody fucking put their foot all the way down on the gas pedal and has never let up. It just seems so fucking hurried and rushed.
They turned Tyrion into a fucking retard.
Tyrion's a total dope now.
They turned Varys into basically, until he died recently, nothing. Like, he didn't do shit for the last 2 seasons. Even the actor who played him was like, I didn't really feel like they gave me much to do these last 2 seasons except be like the background guy.
Oh, yes, I am evil.
Just standing around.
Nothing.
So Cersei didn't do anything this season but stand in a window and make dumb faces.
Cersei was like a drunk soccer mom looking out her window. Dude, that's all she did.
Yeah. I hope the kingdom doesn't fall.
Hey, give me some more wine.
Cersei was terribly treated.
Everything has been awful this season. Not everything. There's been some good. There's been
terrible
some good shit
character
too.
Arcs from the vast
but it's gone to the dogs. And if that's the kind of shit you can do with Game of Thrones, which fucking a few years ago just could do no wrong. Star Wars has already been through the ringer of shit.
Dude, 2 years ago. The only advantage that Game of Thrones has is that it's ending now, so there's not any more fucking.
So it's not like we don't have to suffer for much longer.
Unfortunately, there's going to be spinoffs, which I think are further going to degrade the brand.
Maybe I don't know.
Maybe not. I haven't seen it. But
I don't know, man. The spinoffs might actually be better than this.
Spinoffs tend not to be better, though. They tend to be worse.
Yeah, that's true.
That's just going based on historically.
Sure, I don't even know, man. These guys, though. I don't know if it's all their fault or whose fault it is. I don't know who made the decision to only do 6 episodes.
They are the showrunners, and they defended this episode, and they defended the last episode. They've kind of defended the arcs for the characters.
What are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to be like, yeah, we fucked up royally and it sucks?
I will tell you this, dude.
I don't think they're going to do that.
This Sunday is going to be a fun time on social media.
Oh, God. Look, we all just know, based on the trajectory of these last 5 episodes, that it's going to be shit. It's going to be shit.
This ending,
like everyone at this point has braced themselves for, okay, let's see what horrible conclusion I've waited fucking 8 years or 10 years or however long it's been running.
I went last night and took a look at some of the leaks that were right about this last episode.
Right.
And if they're right about this fucking ending, the shitstorm is going to be, it's just going to be fucking amazing to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be
people are going to lose their minds. It's like 10 years worth of people's, investment into this show, and to have it come to an end like this.
I don't even lie, man. What might end up happening is that this show might end up, like, when the books are finally complete, they might end up remaking Game of Thrones, dude.
I wouldn't fucking fault them with this ending. Like,
remember what happened with Full Metal Alchemist? Remember that?
Yep.
The second series they did once the manga was complete was way better.
It was.
So, that might be what's going to happen.
I don't know, though, because it's such an expensive endeavor, and I don't know if people are going to fall for it again. And who knows?
Sure.
Look, these showrunners said that, George R.R. Martin gave them, when he left, a outline of what was going to happen. Obviously, it was not a very detailed outline, because basically as soon as they stopped going off of the books is when it started to just degrade. Like, that's when a lot of the characters were no longer being handled properly. That's when a lot of strange decisions started happening. That's when the pace just became insane compared to what it was before. And I mean, like, the early seasons of the show, honestly, were probably plotted a little slow for me. Like, it just felt like everything took forever to happen. But that pace, I would trade my left nut for at this point, where everything is just unnaturally overstuffed into 6 fucking episodes. Like, what should have been probably at least 1 full season and probably 2 full seasons of show.
And summary of the
has been crammed into the last 5 episodes.
Well, some of the like you brought up with Varys, but like some of the complimentary characters that made the show great, like Bronn's another one, was just he's there, he's given a crossbow, he's teleported to Winterfell, he's made a threat, now he's gone again.
No one on the show has anything to do anymore. And if this is gonna be like, I don't know, if they fuck up, I mean, like Star Wars is already fucked up. Like Star Wars is already on life support at this point. This is the last thing Star Wars needs is these guys fucking showing up. Like, we're here to help.
I don't know. I saw an opinion piece that said that there might be some, like, behind the scenes, like, salary drama, and that these guys might have intentionally sabotaged the show to fuck over HBO because they were mad about some, salary renegotiation.
I mean, I've heard all kinds of theories. I've heard the theory that George R. R. Martin gave them a fake plot that was awful to fuck them up.
Boost his book.
Right. I mean, I've heard all kinds of, like, it's this person, and it's like it's this person. I've heard, like, it's sabotage, it's ineptitude. I mean, like, there's so many different, I mean, who really knows? But whatever the case may be, it's gone really off the fucking rails.
It's gone real bad.
It's not going
I mean, to
good.
wait 2 years for this, for like 6 episodes that are just at best mediocre.
Ugh.
It's just such a disappointment.
Yeah, awful. Anyway, so, but at least it's almost over and we don't have to suffer that much more. At least the plug is soon to be pulled.
I'm going to enjoy the circling of the drain of this franchise in the weeks after this last episode.
The aftermath of the terrible
finale.
finale.
Dude, episode 6.
Oh, it's going to be amazing.
Episode 6 going to save it all, Paul.
Yeah, if the leaks that Paul and I have seen are right, and they were right
dude.
about previous episodes, then wow, it's going to be not good.
Dude,
Ooh, boy.
I'm predicting right now the fucking dragon we made the king, dude.
Awesome.
That would actually be a cool
That
ending.
actually would be a better ending than
that's
anyway.
not what the
Dragon
leaks say.
King, Dragon King.
Who knows? Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in to Flash Fried. We appreciate your patronage, and we will see you on Friday with a new episode of Deep Fat Fried.
See you later.
See you guys later. Bye.